Hello everyone, I'm Geek Freak and welcome to the video. And welcome to part 2 of my review and analysis of My Story Animated. My mom woke up from a coma after 15 years to get revenge. Now, if you guys haven't seen part 1, please stop watching this video and go and watch part 1. And or, if you guys haven't seen My Story Animated video of this video that I'm reviewing and analysing, stop watching this video and go and watch the original video. And if you guys want to know what happened from last time on Dragon Ball Z. Oh wait a sec, no, that's the that's the wrong series. Last time, the father was relieved when Lisa left. After Lisa argued with him, she packed her things and she left. But if you guys have seen part 1, you guys will know what I'm talking about. And so, with that said, let's resume with the video.
By the end of the week, my mom was ready to come home. We set up the guest room for her, but we were surprised when she came in the house and went directly to the master bedroom. My dad didn't say anything, but my brother spoke up. He told her to put her things in the guest room, and she looked hurt.
There's another clip that goes along with this, but I want to talk about this clip here. When the mom came home, she was heading for the master bedroom, and the dad or the daughter said nothing until the son told the mom to put her things in the guest room, and then the mom looked confused. Now, here's the thing. You would have thought they would have sat the mother down and told the mother what's going on and told her why she has to go into the guest bedroom. Now, it could be one of two things, or it could be both. One, they didn't have the chance to tell her, like they was going to tell her when they got home. Or two, they wanted to tell her, but didn't have the courage or the heart to tell her why that she has to go into the guest room. But the son did. The son says that she can put her things into the guest room. So again, I think this is actually very believable. Again, in this situation, what would you do? I mean, to a complete stranger, it would mean nothing. You would just say what needs to be said. But this is her family, so it's going to be very hard for them to say, please use the guest room, and say why she needs to use the guest room. So I'm guessing that it's the son who is the strongest out of 3 of them. And the mother's reaction when she was told this is pretty believable too. I'm going to guess that her emotions was confusion and maybe a little bit of sadness. But the main thing, I think what she was thinking is, why? What are you talking about? Why do I need to go into the guest room? So even after all that time she spent in the hospital, they never told her about Lisa or how he remarried. I'm saying this as a maybe because in the next scene, well, you guys are going to have to see it for yourself. And with that said, let's continue.
It's okay, Mom. You can sleep in the master bedroom tonight, I tried to assure her. Tonight? It's my bed, my house. She looked confused and worried. Then she asked where our stepmom was. We told her she left, and I don't know if I saw relief on her face or terror.
Now, when the daughter said, it's okay, Mom, you can sleep in the master bedroom tonight, and the mom said, tonight, but it's my house, my bed. So she was definitely confused. So I'm 80% sure that she didn't know about Lisa or how the father remarried. And I love how she put 2 and 2 together, or I'm assuming that she thought she put 2 and 2 together, thinking that there was another woman, which there was. And even after being told that she left, the mother's face had a lot of emotion in it, not just relief or terror. Now, even though I do love this scene, and I do like the fact that you put 2 and 2 together, I'm pretty sure that there should have been another scene here. I mean, think about it for a sec. If you guys have seen the old video, and you're analysing it like I am, and you watch this scene, and seeing that the mother has put 2 and 2 together, that there is another woman, you would have thought that she would have asked questions, like, when did she meet this other woman? How long has the dad and Lisa been together? When did they get married? There should have been more questions for her to ask. I mean, if you was in her shoes, what would you do? What would you say? How would you feel? In my opinion, besides from relief and terror, I think maybe the mum also might have felt a little bit of guilt. The fact that her husband has remarried. In other clips after this one, I kind of feel that the mother might actually have felt guilt, but I will get to that when I get to that. And maybe the mother was scared that she might lose her family. Maybe that was the thing that she was scared of. And when the daughter also said that she saw relief on her mom, it could be a sign that she believes that she can still be with her family. Maybe she was glad that the stepmom was gone. But you know, who knows? Maybe I'm overthinking it. But this is one of the best clips in the entire video. But the best is still to come. And so, let's move on.
We all helped her get settled in the bed and she took a nap while we discussed how we were going to introduce my stepmom to my mom. However, not long after, our stepmom came to the door and knocked loudly, waking my mom up. My brother answered the door and in a hushed tone, he told her to be quiet. Just as the door shut again, my mom was on the landing of the stairs. "Everything okay?" she asked, and came down the stairs, coming face to face with my stepmom.
We're almost getting to the best parts of the old video, but I would like to say, if you've seen the old video and repeatedly watched it, just seeing the mom at the top of the stairs gives it that creepy vibe. I just love how she just appears at the top of the stairs. It already gives that unsettling feeling, and I just love how she comes face to face with Lisa. I think I speak for everybody when I say this, but the drama here is just so good. We don't know what's going to happen, but every time I watch this, I just look forward to this part. I mean, yeah, the entire video is fantastic, but when the mother and Lisa finally meets, well, I would have also loved to have seen a discussion between the son, the daughter, and the father on how they would introduce the stepmom and the mom. I would have loved to have seen a deep conversation between those three. Let's continue, and you guys will see what I mean.
Mom, this is Lisa, I said, stepping forward. Lisa crossed her arms as my mom put her hand out. Realizing that Lisa wasn't going to shake her hand, my mom put hers back at her side. She offered Lisa to come on in, and Lisa snidely replied, "I don't need to be invited into my own home." I guess it just shows the type of person my mom is, but she didn't reply with something nasty and rude. She graciously smiled and offered Lisa some tea. Then she said, "We can all call this place home." Lisa scoffed. That's when my mom almost lost her cool. Instead of flipping out and yelling at Lisa, she stirred the sugar in her tea and quietly said, "You're not the one who had their entire life ripped away from them, so I don't know what you're so upset about." "You're taking my husband away," was all Lisa could muster. My mom reminded Lisa that she had actually taken her husband away first. She also said that it was extremely upsetting that Lisa got to watch her children grow up a little while she lay unconscious in a hospital bed. That's when Lisa jumped up and spilled hot tea all over my mom.
10 seconds into this clip, and you can cut the tension with butter. It's clear that the mom wants to be friendly, and is at least trying to get to know Lisa, but Lisa isn't having it. It's clear that Lisa doesn't like the mother. And to be fair, when the mother offered Lisa to come in, Lisa said, "I don't need to be invited into my own home." I was like, actually, that is a point. I mean, who is the rightful owners of the house? I mean, considering the father didn't divorce the mother and married Lisa, and Lisa and the father isn't legally married, does that technically mean the house rightfully belongs to the mother? Well, I mean, technically it's the father's as well. Anyways, Lisa's been living in that house for 3 years, and then all of a sudden, the mother comes back, Lisa leaves, and then comes back to the house and says that she doesn't need to be invited into her own home. I don't know what the legal implication for this is, but considering the mom and the father are still legally married, it is technically the mother's house. So really, technically, it isn't Lisa's house. Again, I don't know what the legal implications are for this. Anyways, the mom wasn't being rude or nasty or anything like that. She offered Lisa some tea, and the mother even said that they can all call this place home. So we can assume that the mom didn't mind Lisa living in the same house as her, the kids, and the husband. So maybe there is a little bit of guilt there, just like what I said earlier. And then when Lisa scoffed and the mom almost lost her cool, which, to be honest, felt a little forced to me. I mean, if Lisa was to push a little bit more, besides from the scoffing, and then the mother almost loses her cool, then I think it might be a little bit believable. But what the mother said next, she does make a really good point. The mother did lose 15 years of her life. Well, technically she said, "You're not the one who had her entire life taken away from her," which I think is a little bit misleading. I think it would have been best if she said, "You're not the one who lost 15 years of her motherhood." And in my opinion, I think that's what she should have said. Or maybe that's how the mother feels, that those 15 years of her life was her life. She desperately wanted it to be with her family and see her kids grow up. So maybe that's it. And you know what? The mother does have a point. Compared to the mother, Lisa has nothing to complain about. And the only thing that Lisa said to combat this is, "You're taking my husband away." And later on, in other clips, I'll tell you guys why Lisa being upset doesn't make any sense. I mean, yeah, her being upset does make sense, but it's what she does later that confuses me. But I'll get to that when I get to that. Anyways, the mom does have some good points. Lisa did technically steal her husband first, and Lisa did see the kids grow up a little bit, while the mother was in a coma for 15 years. So, compared to Lisa, the mother seems to have had it worse than Lisa. Now, some people will say that the family was just using her as a babysitter or as a temporary wife and mother. And you know what? I can see it from Lisa's point of view. The fact that the mother came back and took away Lisa's husband and home, I think I'd be pissed off too. But again, the mother has had it worse than Lisa. But you know what? This is actually a complicated, awkward situation. Now, some people will side with Lisa, some people will side with the mother, some people will say that Lisa overreacted. But I think Lisa isn't putting her shoes inside the mother's shoes. So, in a kind of way, Lisa is being a little bit selfish. But on the other hand, the kids are being selfish because they want Lisa to leave so they can have the mom back, and the father doesn't know what to do, and the mother is trying to be nice to Lisa. And some of you might ask me what side I'm going to take between Lisa and the mother. Like I said, it's a complicated situation. I feel bad for both women. The mother lost 15 years of her life, and Lisa, in her eyes, had her husband stolen from her. And just like what happened in the clip, the mom made a really good point that Lisa stole her husband first. So to be honest, this is a complicated situation. Now here's the thing, if Lisa was pregnant or she had a kid with the father, it would be the right thing for Lisa to stay and the mother to go and live with her parents. I mean, the kids are almost grown up and Lisa will need help with the husbands and her baby. I mean, if that was brought into the story, that Lisa was pregnant, I think that would bring in more drama and a reason for Lisa to stay with the father. Or, here's an idea, what if Lisa knew she was pregnant, and when she moved out, she wanted to keep it a secret, and the father never knew? I mean, that would be really good for drama. And the reason why she didn't come back to him is because she wanted him to try really hard to try and get her back. And then that way, if he did try hard to try and get her back, she would reveal that she's pregnant. But if not, she would try and raise the baby herself. Maybe she needs some clarification on how far the father will try to get her back. But you know what, that's just my wishful thinking for making good drama. So yeah, and the part where Lisa throws the tea on the mother, well, you know what, if you ask me, I think Lisa went too far. I mean, there's going to be people out there who's going to disagree with me, and there's going to be people who's going to agree with me. But if you ask me, I think Lisa went a bit too far. So yeah, this analysis has gone on too far. Let's continue.
I quickly sprang into action, as did my brother. I grabbed a towel to help my mom dry off. Luckily, the tea had some milk and sugar in it, so it wasn't scalding, and my brother pulled Lisa away, shoving her out the door while simultaneously screaming for our dad. He ran down the stairs like lightning. "What is it? What's going on?" he asked. We explained what happened, and my dad took off out the door after Lisa. I helped my mom up the stairs, and we got her in the shower to get the tea off of her. Then we heard shouting outside. My stepmom and dad were back. All we could hear was Lisa screaming that my dad lied to her, and there was nothing he could do to get her to forgive him.
Okay, where the hell was the father in all this? I mean, didn't he hear Lisa knock at the door? The loud knocking woke up the mother. So what the hell was the father doing? He was in the house, upstairs, doing God knows. In fact, what was he doing up there? Was he in the master bedroom and the mother was in the guest room? Did he have his own personal office? Why didn't the kids go and get the father at a crucial time like this? The father should have been there when the wife and Lisa finally met. At the very least, the three adults could have sat down and talked about this problem. But nope, he didn't hear anything, despite being upstairs and Lisa knocking really loud to wake up the mother, but the father didn't hear anything. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the meeting between Lisa and the mother, but it doesn't make any sense why the father didn't hear Lisa knocking at the door. And also, when Lisa was arguing with the father, in her eyes, the father betrayed her trust and lied to her. And that's how she sees it. He lied to her. But like I said earlier in the other video, I think the father didn't know that his wife was going to wake up, so there was no need to tell Lisa. And you know what? I'm getting that vibe from the father. He doesn't seem to be a sneaky guy. He just didn't tell Lisa that he wasn't divorced from his wife, and thinking that his wife would never wake up. And again, he does feel upset about it. And in my opinion, I think he does love Lisa, and he still loves his wife. So again, he's stuck between two women. And also, alongside this clip, in the next clip I'm going to show you guys something that doesn't make any sense. So let's continue.
I was hoping she would leave, but she came into the house and shoved herself into the master bedroom right past my mom. I asked Lisa if she could have some respect for my mom who was changing, but she snarled at me and started stuffing a bag full of clothes. "I'm out of here. Don't bother calling me," she said to my dad as she quickly left again. Over the next few days, my dad tried calling her, but she wouldn't answer. He tried to get a hold of her sister, parents, and everyone else that would know where she was, but no one would give him any clues.
I just want to get straight to the part that really bothered me the most, and it was the fact that Lisa told the father to not call her. Now, here's the thing. It's clear that Lisa was angry at the mother for stealing her husband. And you know what? That's the thing. Lisa was furious at the mom because, in Lisa's own words, "You're taking my husband away from me." And you know what? That's the thing. She comes into the house and packs some more clothes and even tells the dad, "I'm out of here. Don't bother calling." I mean, what's going on here? In fact, Lisa was angry at the father and calling him all sorts of names, even though he was crying, implying that he does care about Lisa. And then she comes back, has an argument with the mom and says, "You're taking my husband away from me." And then she has an argument with the father again outside the house, calling him a liar and she'll never forgive him. She comes into the house, snarls at the daughter, packs some more clothes and says, "I'm hell of you, don't bother calling." So yeah, Lisa is throwing some mixed signals here. So I'm going to say it's a mixture of jealousy and pride. I actually think it might actually be the fact that Lisa's pride was damaged. The fact that some woman stole her man, and the fact that the father chooses the wife over her. So maybe that's it. Lisa does go on saying that, "Oh, you took my husband away from me." But the fact that she argues with him and also tells him to leave her alone. So yeah, I'm definitely going to say that it's more of a pride thing. That's the signals what I'm getting anyways. Or maybe I'm wrong. What do you guys think? Anyways, the daughter wants Lisa to leave. Lisa shoves herself into the master bedroom. The daughter asks Lisa if she can show some respect because her mother's changing, and Lisa snarls at her. So I'm going to assume that these two never really got along with each other. Or maybe, since their mom was awake, Lisa and the daughter's relationship changed. So yeah, maybe that's it. Ever since their mom woke up, the kids and Lisa's relationship changed. So I'm going to go with that. Now, when it comes to the father trying to call Lisa and everyone that knew her, we can assume that the father wants to talk to Lisa. Well, obviously he wants to talk to Lisa. I don't think it's just the guilt that he had for not telling Lisa that he's still married to his wife, but I think he still might have some feelings for her. Maybe it's guilt, or maybe he does care, or maybe it's a mixture of both. He's at least trying to talk to her, but she won't answer him. And he's tried Lisa's parents, Lisa's sister, and nobody is willing to give him any answers as to where Lisa is. Because it's either one of two things. One, they don't actually know where she is, Or Lisa has told them what's happened and they refuse to give the father any information on where she is. I'm going to say that Lisa told her friends and family what happened and now her family refuses to tell the father anything. This is what I'm going to assume. And you know what? You know, like in most stories where somebody's the bad guy and they need to be stopped and all that shindig. So far in the story, nobody is the bad guy. Lisa is somewhat the antagonist and the victim of circumstances. And you know what? I hope she doesn't become the bad guy in part 2, where she comes back for revenge and wants to ruin the father's life. In fact, I don't want anybody to be the villain in the story. I would like to see everybody in the story as the victim of circumstances. The father feels guilt. Lisa is angry, the mother tries to be optimistic, the kids are seeing all this on the side, but wants to see Lisa leave. For me, I think this is more believable than somebody just being the bad guy, instead of someone being there for the money or power, lust, greed, etc, etc. The best part of storytelling is just victims of circumstances. And so far in the story, everybody is a victim of circumstance. Well, so far in the story anyways. For me, I think the best part is with Lisa, the father, and the mother. For me, I love this sort of drama, but don't get me wrong, all the video is fantastic. But I do have a soft spot for these sort of dramas. However, there still is some more good stuff coming. So yeah, let's continue.
During that time, he was also taking care of my mom, driving her to some appointments and making her food when she was hungry. My brother and I were busy with school, so thankfully, he was able to keep her company. A couple weeks after the crazy incident with Lisa, my brother and I came home to see our parents sitting on the couch together, my mom's feet across my dad's thighs. I couldn't believe the sight. When we came in the door, the two looked as if we caught them doing something wrong. They blushed and tried to scramble away from each other. My brother and I burst out laughing. They were married after all. We didn't mind that they wanted to get closer. It had been almost 15 years since they'd been able to do that. That was the moment we thought that we had our mom back. She was still pretty weak and often didn't understand how to use technology, but she was smiling more and cracking jokes. Her and I talked a lot more too, and I told her about almost everything that I've done in my life to catch her up. We cried a lot, and I held her while she apologized for not being around.
So the father, while trying to contact with Lisa, he was also taking care of his old wife. I mean, at the very least, he was trying with Lisa and his old wife. And then after 2 weeks, I'm going to assume that he just gave up on Lisa and just concentrated on his wife. And you know what? I think the reason why the mom and the dad shifted away from each other is because maybe it was because of Lisa. Because remember, the mom came back and she came between Lisa and the husband. Or maybe it was out of embarrassment. Or maybe it was a little bit of both. And this is the part where everybody is all happy and the family's back together now. And it seems like everything's just going to be okay. I mean, sure, the mum has a few obstacles to overcome, like adjusting to new technology. But she was getting better. And she was happy. And she was talking more to her daughter. It just seemed like everything was just going to be A-okay. And it just seems like everybody is just going to get that happy ending. Or will it? Let's continue.
Then things started to get strange. She'd wake up very early in the morning and turn on all the burners on the stove. The refrigerator door would be wide open, and the house would smell like gas fumes when we woke up in the morning. The last time that this happened, she was sitting out on the porch while everything in the kitchen was running, including the sink and the microwave. The back door was left open, and I saw her curled in a ball. I walked out of the door and asked her if she was okay. She didn't answer. I sat down next to my mom and put my arm around her. When she looked at me, all I could see was pure terror in her eyes.
You see, it's one thing after another, after another, after another. Throughout this entire story, we think it's going to be one thing, and then we think it's going to be another thing, and then we think it's going to be another thing. There is just so much going on in the story. And the fact that the mom does a 180 and starts doing strange stuff, just like we've seen in that clip, you gotta ask yourselves, why is she doing this? And why now? She's been out of the hospital for a few weeks. So why did she start this strange behavior? So yeah, let's carry on.
"Who are you?" she asked and pulled away from me. I looked at her utterly confused. "I'm your daughter, Emma." "No, my daughter is a baby. I just had her a couple of months ago. Who are you and why are you in my house?" "Dad?" I called, and it took a few minutes, but he showed up on the doorstep. "Something's wrong with Mom," is all I could say before she grabbed my hair and pulled my head back. She started screaming, "Where is my daughter?" And my dad grabbed her, pulling her arms behind her back. It was then that she snapped out of whatever trance she was in. She started crying and saying, "I'm sorry, Emma." I ran upstairs and locked my door. To say I was terrified would be an understatement. Something was going on with my mom, and we needed to figure it out.
Okay. I'm just going to have to say it here. I am praying that this is a split personality thingy that's going on here. Some people might find it cliche that the mother has an evil side to her, but you know what? I find this perfect. I like to think that the mother has a side of her that's in denial, that she lost 15 years of her life, and she still believes that she gave birth a few months ago. And then she attacks the daughter and shouts, "Where is my baby?" And when the dad pulled the mother off the daughter and she snapped out of her trance, she started crying and started apologizing to her daughter. And even though the mother was apologizing to her, the daughter ran away from her and went into her bedroom and locked it. And you know what? I am praying, I'm really am praying that in part 2, that the mother has developed a mental illness. Well, I'm not praying that I hope she has a mental illness, but story-wise, I think the mother has developed a strong hatred towards her daughter and can't get over the fact that she lost 15 years of her life and still believes that she gave birth a few months ago. So that's my best guess. She's still the caring, loving mother she's always been, but after everything that's happened, after when she woke up, she might have actually developed this condition. Mental illness, split personality, who knows? But the mother seems to be truly sorry for what she did to her daughter. So I'm praying that the mother hasn't gone full antagonist. So it is safe to say that it's her dark side that's doing all those horrible things. And now the daughter is scared of her. So let's continue.
My dad called the hospital and they told him she may have had some memory lapses, but this was way more severe than a slip of the mind. She physically hurt me, and she's a very small woman. There was something else going on here. I spent the next several days trying to keep my distance from her. She apologized to me several times after the incident on the porch, but I was still afraid to get close to her.
Now I know that Emma is scared of her mother and she's trying to avoid her mother because her mother attacked her. Now here's the thing, Emma has only known her mother for a few weeks, so I'm going to assume that it's going to be really hard for Emma to trust her mother again. I mean, I can understand if Emma knew her mother her whole life, like they got to know each other and they know each other in and out, so it would be easier for Emma to be more understanding. But Emma has only known her mother for a few weeks or a few months. You know, physically talking to each other, getting to know each other. So again, it's going to be hard for Emma to trust her mother because she's only ever known her for a few months. Well, I mean, that's how I interpret it anyways. But you know, give the mom some credit. At the very least, she's trying to say sorry to her daughter. The mother is trying. But Emma is avoiding her. So in Emma's own time, she will eventually come around to her mother and see that her mother needs help.
My father and brother had no problem accepting her back into the family. They would play board games and watch movies together. But every time that I would join in, I could tell that a dark mask fell over my mom's face. She would constantly stare at me out of the corner of her eye, and I swear I could see a red glint flash over her normally bright eyes whenever she didn't think I was looking.
Okay, now sometimes in movies or series, there'll always be that one person who says, this person's crazy, or, I found a treasure map, so it might lead to treasure. Or they would say, hey, there's a ghost in my room. And most of the time, people will say, we don't believe you, or they would just brush it off like she was crazy. Emma felt that her mother wasn't right, but the father and dad seems to be more accepting to the mother. I mean, Emma even said that the mother would turn on the taps and leave the back door open and turn on the microwave, and the mother did attack Emma. So why isn't the dad and the son just as worried as Emma? I don't know, maybe the father and the son is trying to make the mother more comfortable, and maybe they're in denial that there's something wrong with the mother. So obviously Emma's going to be more worried about her mother because her mother did attack her, and Emma even said that her mother was giving her the evil eye. Okay, that's not exactly what she said, but it is clear that the mother has something wrong with her. And again, I'm going to say that she has a split personality. Fingers crossed that it's a split personality. So yeah, let's move on to the final clip.
Then, one night, I woke up to her staring at me from across my bedroom. I popped up in my bed and asked her if she was okay. She didn't reply, but I could see her eyes in the darkness. They weren't right. I screamed for my dad again, and when he came in the room, he flipped on the light. She wasn't in the chair anymore. We searched for her everywhere in the house, but she wasn't anywhere we could see. That's when we heard the blood-curdling scream. Tune in next time to hear what happened with my mom in the woods.
Okay, two things. Number one, holy hell, that was scary. Those red eyes in the darkness was terrifying. And the fact that the mother was sitting there in her daughter's room just watching her. I mean, come on, that was scary. I mean, come on, how can anybody not love this story? It is fantastic. And then later on, they try to find her looking all over the house, and then they hear a scream, and then they find out it's coming from the woods, and well, that's it. And then we have to wait for part 2. And since the making of this video, it's been nearly about 3 months. I have been waiting for 3 months, wanting to know what happened next. Now, here's the thing. Why did the mother leave? And why did she go into the middle of the woods? And who was the one who made that scream? I mean, was it the mother or was it somebody else? Where is the story going to take off from here? So I was like, hold on, they're near a woods? That seems odd. So yeah, this was a humongous cliffhanger. There were so many things going on, so much drama. It's one thing after another, after another, after another. And I have watched this video over and over and over, and I just can't get enough. It's that good. Now I'm going to put my 2 cents into this. I'm going to give this video a 9 out of 10. Well, the story a 9 out of 10. And the reason why it's not a 10 out of 10 is because I wish there was more. I wish there was more explanation on a few things in this video. If you guys have seen this full video and part 1, you'll know what I'm talking about. This is actually a good complaint, that I wanted more explanation. I would have loved to have seen more history with the characters. I would have liked to know the history with the kids and Lisa, the history with the mother, the history with the husband, with Lisa and the mother, and more explanation as to why the mother is going nuts. And again, I am praying that it's a split personality. I am praying, and the fact that the mother just needs help. Now, when they do make part 2, I'm actually split if they should bring back Lisa or they shouldn't bring her back. Now, the reason why I don't want her to come back is because I think her role is finished. She's basically got the idea that her husband chose the mother over her. And let's just say, for example, that the mother was put away because she was mentally ill. I don't think things would be the same after everything Lisa has been through. I don't think that she would want to come back, even if the mother was to leave for a mental hospital, because I think that's what's going to happen to the mother. They can see that the mother needs help and she needs to go into the hospital to get better. So in the end, the father would have lost 2 women, Lisa and his wife, and now the father is all alone again. His wife's crazy and Lisa has left him. And even if Lisa was to come back into the house, everything would be awkward and complicated with her and the kids and the father. So we can assume that she's not going to come back peacefully unless she wants to come back for revenge. And to be honest, I don't like that. I wouldn't like Lisa to come back for revenge. I mean, maybe the main reason why she could come back is because maybe she's pregnant with the father's child, and the father will have no choice but to take her back because she is pregnant with his child. But you know what? Who knows? But I really am hoping that Lisa doesn't come back looking for revenge, because I said this once in the video, or the other video, that I don't want anybody to be the villain in the story. I would like everybody just to be the victim of circumstances. And you know what? Yeah, it's easy for somebody just to be the villain, saying, oh, I'm the bad guy, and I like to do evil things. And sometimes you get those stories where a person makes bad decisions and might regret it later. I mean, those are good. But again, I think being victims of circumstance would be the best thing for the story. And I'm hoping it's like that in part 2. I would like to know how the story ends. I mean, who knows? Maybe there's going to be a part 3 or a part 4. You know, like one of those continuous stories that you would see on other animated story YouTube channels. So what would I like to see in part 2? Well, number 1, I would like to know what's wrong with the mother. That's number 1. Number 2, how's the family going to handle it? Number 3, what the hell is the mother doing in the woods? And who did that screaming? Number 4, even though I don't think Lisa should come back, but if she does come back, what's her role? What is she going to do? And I am praying that it's not a revenge quest. I am praying that it's not a revenge quest. I mean, if they're going to bring her back, then I think having her pregnant with his child would be the better option instead of a revenge quest. So yeah, overall, I really do enjoy this story. And the sight of people in the comments saying, where's part 2, where's part 2, where's part 2? Everybody has been waiting for part 2, and I hope they release it soon. I would like to know what happens next. This was an overall good story. It does have a few problems, but they are minor problems. And the problems are, I wish I knew more. The history, the background, and have things explained more. These are just a few gripes I have with the story. So again, a 9 out of 10. It would have been a 10 out of 10 if they explained more on the character's history, on the character's relationships. Then it would have been a perfect 10 out of 10. That is one of the only things that's wrong with it. I would like to know more. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And who knows, I might actually do a top 10 of my favorite My Story animated videos. And that's a maybe. I'm Geek Freak. Peace out. Thank you guys for watching. And if there's a series you want me to check out and review and give my thoughts on it, or if there's a top 10 list you want me to do, or any reactions, or responses, or rants on anything geeky, just leave links and comments in the comment sections below, and I'll get to them as soon as I can. If you guys want to go and check out my other social medias, I'm on Gab, Discord, BitChute, Dailymotion, Reddit, Subscribestar, Minds, Instagram, Twitch, DeviantArt, Pinterest, Parler, My Anime List, and Vidya. And don't forget to check out my Skeptic channel, Gypsy Freak. And my other social medias are down there in the description box below, so if you want to go and check them out, please do. And if you guys want to support this channel, I'm on PayPal, Patreon, and GoFundMe. And please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you won't miss another video. I'm Geek Freak. Peace out.